Hello there, traveler. Bean says hello too. I currently have her trapped with me in this spot while we're enjoying the wonderful changing of the season from spring into summer. So you'll have to give your thanks to her addition to our soundtrack today. The goal of today is to go through a little bit of a guided meditation, just to come back to the presence, the present, to be present in the present, with a little cat crawling around, all the signs of life, and all these different wind whipping through these different bushes, the green little leaves flapping. It looks like they're almost saying hello. I always like to say that when the trees' leaves are reflecting in the sunlight and the wind, it almost looks like it's rendering, trying to come to reality, right? Like these hellos are trying to make its way into reality, trying to scream at us, almost. That's what I like to say in my little headcanon, at least. a little bit of a trip. Or at least maybe a trip flashback. But as my little kitty cat is running around on me, I want to take a moment here to talk about why I even want to do a guided meditation. Come back to this present moment. Being able to just share the space with you, traveler, is a gift. I'm not sure exactly what space you're currently inhabiting right now, but I hope it's full of bright spots. And I'm hoping you're able to take a moment to come into that space and find your breath. I'm willing to still bet that wherever you're listening to this, whoever you are, whatever you are, whatever form of being you are, I think technically, in essence, my goal is to be your teammate. I think my goal is, regardless of what kind of being you are, so very similar to the theology of Buddhism. My goal is to be on the side of all sentient beings and figure out how to end cyclic suffering, right? How to make things better for the next generation. Make it better for the kids, right? Make this world a better place. And I don't think wherever you are, that changes, or whoever you are. I think that even if you, up until this point, in this moment, even bad actors, you still have the opportunity to do the next right thing, right? We can always be teammates. We can always figure that out. You can always make that choice with whatever semblance of free will we have. And one of the things that is causing discord in my current space that I'm inhabiting, the world that I live in, is the disillusionment of truth. There is not an accepted reality, what is real, all that stuff, right? Now, the issue I have with that, though, is that I understand that as groups, countries, states, for instance, where I live now in America, right? We've had this collective identity and this collective shared truth that we kind of agreed on that's kept the status quo together, right? But I'm not willing to actually believe that we've ever actually had a status quo that is based in reality. I don't know if we've ever. And I don't know if we will ever. With the current attacks and the current issues and the current rise of hate, the actual playbook of fascism, this disconnection, it might find its way at coming to what's that collective truth and eroding it to a point of chaos where you can get good people to do horrible things. That has been intentionally stoked by bad actors. Crazy amounts of causes and conditions, right? That leaves most individuals who are just trying to do the next right thing with not a whole lot of agency or control or any ability to do anything about it. I don't think we've ever had an actual society that was based in what the fuck actually is reality. We're still just beginning to understand what this is. We don't have any kind of grand unified theory of physics, for instance. We don't have policies that are based in any kind of basic human healthcare literacy, how humans, capitalism isn't built on how humans should function. The disacknowledgement of the atrocities that these states have participated in and the disequity that these systems of power have created, right? I don't know if we've ever actually had a collective group that actually knew what the fuck was going on and actually had a collective reality that was based in reality, instead of it just being whatever norms and beliefs that particular group had. I do think we have an interesting opportunity. I am one who does believe that the current order of our world is one of chaos. That the system that I grew up in is effectively dead at this point. That the capitalism has created of its own grade rigor of sorts, and we're moving on into who knows what comes next. I'm not here to predict that. But I am here to talk about, again, as always, on this anthology, this story, this cat-inclusive space, is that I have been in situations where I don't know what is real. Through my addiction and the struggles that I've had with mental health. And I know a lot of other people who have struggled with that too. Whether it be people who are in the addicts community, people who have come out of religious cults and high control groups. This concept of deconstruction, being able to come to a shared consensus of what reality is, right? This pathway of being able to understand where the biases are, where the intentional bad actors are, and the lies and the boundary violations. What is delusional? What is real, right? That process, that state of being, that journey. And I don't know what to call that. I don't know what that looks like on a large scale. I don't know what it looks like in terms of forming non-hierarchical powers, a system that actually create a reality where we can have equity and we can actually work towards sustainability and a suffering for all beings. And anyone who is willing to sell you that, hey, this is the pathway forward, I tell them they're take it with a grain of salt and it's horseshit, because I don't know if anyone knows the way through this mess. While history may rhyme, it has its own unique causes and conditions. But I do think, right, that if we start talking about and acting and organizing around these concepts of trying to come back to what is real, what is reality, how do we make that our shared basis? Even in our just casual conversations. Fuck talking about what that looks like in any kind of state actor or state organization. Let's just talk about simply you and me right here, traveler. On a human to being, or a being to being, or whatever the fuck we are, or whatever we can agree that is. These two sentient fucks sharing a space, coming back to the breath, and enjoying a meditation. So please take a moment, traveler. Get comfortable. We're just going to take a moment to observe our reality and come back to it. Now, when I come back to my breath, I first notice that my heartbeat's a little elevated right now. Not fully breathing in manual, but there is some intention behind my breath right now. In front of me, I'm lucky enough to be able to see some little insects scurrying around in the air, fluttering in the wind realistically. The branches of these shrubs and trees gently swaying in that same breeze. Just doing a little shimmer, saying hello. I hear the roar of the freeway that's, a couple miles away. It's still close enough where I can hear that distant just rumble. I'm also lucky enough to hear the sound of a bird twittering, making some kind of little chirping around midday. That roar of the air, maybe even an airplane in the sky. While still finding the peace and quiet of just the gentle breeze and the leaves. Take a moment. Where's your breath at now? It's still pretty shallow. It's slowed down. It's gotten a little bit more full. Is your mind trying to run to anything right now? Right now, mind trying to be both here and say something profound. Ooh, hearing some kind of other bird. And a little butterfly goes by just like that. Or maybe a moth. Being able to see the trees go up the mountains is something that I'll be ever grateful for in this space that I'm sharing right now. I know I'm originally a desert rat kid, so being able just to be surrounded by this layering of green is just something that brings my heart a lot of peace and happiness. What are the colors in the space that you see right now? Anything that really speaks to you? It's interesting how every little thing I look at, I can see something new, even in the repetition. As we take a moment just to be here in this space, letting our thoughts be. You don't have to stop them. You don't have to race through them. Understand why you're maybe trying to attach to that thought. Why it's so easy to let go of one. As the clouds begin to roll in and the wind begins to shift, I want to take a moment to do a few intentional breaths. We're going to breathe in on the count of 3, hold for 3, and exhale for 5. Ready? And we're going to inhale in 1, 2, 3. Hold. 1, 2, 3. And exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And hold. 1, 2, 3. And inhale. 1, 2, 3. Hold. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Hold. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Hold. And 1, 2, 3. Exhale. I think that little frog in my throat was a good enough sign as exhale to say we get out of that pattern and rhythm right there. As we begin to close out here, traveler, I want to just say thank you again for sharing this space with me. Let's take a moment to come back to the space and just take one final observation of it. What's going on? All the wind, the leaves, the trees, the birds, the bees, and the bean. As always, traveler, you are loved. You are enough.